E-commerce or retail, which is the best for a pop culture business? With e-commerce, you can do everything online starting from your bedroom or garage, but then you can't get to know your customers face to face. With retail, there are much higher overheads, but you can rely on local foot traffic to meet your new customers and grow a community of people who share your passion for your particular slice of pop culture. I'm Kenny Lee, and I'm the founder of Light My Bricks, the world's #1 Lego lighting company, an 8-figure e-commerce business that I started on my kitchen table that's now all over the world. After running Light My Bricks as a successful e-commerce business for 8 years, I finally created a way and opened a retail store. Why did it take me 8 years to go from e-commerce to retail? Well, because e-commerce is hands down the best way for you to get going with your passion-based pop culture business. In this video, we're going to uncover why you should start with an e-com platform first and then think about a retail space after you've found success online. Just like I did, and I'm going to explain. Choosing a location, overheads, and signing a lease. Finding your customers online versus finding them in person. Employing staff, product and brand development, and flexibility. So starting off, choosing a physical retail location. This can be a tricky one because there are so many boxes to tick. Does the location have good foot traffic? Is it somewhere your customers can get to easily? What about parking? Okay, so once you've found that perfect location, that solves all of those problems, but now you've got to sign a lease. And to me, this is the big issue when getting into a retail way too fast. Retail leases are an expensive overhead and are very costly to break should you run into any trouble. And that's money that you could be spending on testing new products, building your brand, and developing other aspects of your new pop culture business that is now tied up in massive monthly expenses, weighing you down at a time when you need to be moving at lightning speed. Second, advertising on an e-com platform can be way more cost effective than advertising for a brick and mortar store. With e-com, you can target and find your customers wherever they are, all around the world. They don't even have to come to you. But obviously, with a brick and mortar space, you are restricted to a number of customers that you can attract with your store signs, sandwich board, or local letterbox drop based on the potential customer's proximity to your store. The next thing to consider with a brick and mortar store is, of course, staffing. Now, this might not seem like a big deal at first, but let's dig into a little bit more. Unless you're planning on manning that cash register all by yourself from open to close in your retail space, or you're going to go into business with a partner, which has its own list of things to watch out for, you're going to need to hire some staff, at least on a part-time basis. This is another huge expense with limited flexibility. Finding the right help is difficult and training can be even harder. But if you start with an online business first, you can be open 24/7 as a solo operator, but without the need to be in one physical location to do so. And your customers won't even know the difference. And finally, what you're going to be noticing is that most of these issues come down to cost. When you're starting out or growing your pop culture based business, you want to keep costs down as much as possible so you can remain flexible. With low overheads, you can try new products, continue testing the market, figuring out what your customers and community actually want. If you've got overheads associated with everything I've just spoken about way too early, it can be impossible to pivot and try something new. You can become stuck, and in the fast-paced world of business in 2025, you have got to remain nimble. But once you've considered all of these factors and built up your pop culture business online over a number of years, a retail space is still an amazing way to get your products physically in front of people who might not have otherwise known about them. Nothing beats talking to customers in person, sharing your passion for what you've created face to face. We want to start a pop culture based business because we love pop culture and the specific communities we're involved in. So to have a retail space where you can actually interact with the community is still the #1 dream. Just make sure you're ready and have built a strong brand online first. You can't beat e-commerce platforms as step 1 for testing ideas, digital marketing, keeping costs down, and learning as you go. Don't give up on that retail dream just yet. Just make sure you've built that brand online first.